shoe at CJI. B.R. Gavai, the person has been detained is what we are being told. The lawyer has been identified as Rakesh Kishore. After lawyers tried to attack him in the Supreme Court. In fact, CJI B.R. Gavai has said that these things do not affect me. A reaction also coming in from the CJI himself, but it's deeply disturbing to see how there was an attempt to throw a shoe at the Chief Justice of India, B.R. Gavai. The person has been detained. He has been identified as Rakesh Kishore is what we're being told. Let's quickly go across to Ananya, who brings us those breaking inputs. So, Ananya, first of all, who is Rakesh Kishore?
Well, he's a lawyer from, as far as the Supreme Court records are concerned, might be somebody who was, not happy with the kind of decisions or the kind of observations that the Chief Justice of India has made. And now going, in fact, to make this kind of an attempt is definitely a breach of the security. As far as the Supreme Court is concerned, it is a highly secured zone. But this kind of an attempt being made as far as things are concerned, and very clearly at this juncture, the person has been detained is what we have been told. The DCP, the concern of the Supreme Court, had also met the Secretary General. We might expect a statement that could come in from the Supreme Court or not. We'll have to wait for that. At this point of time, what we know from what has happened exactly is that the person was inside when the Chief Justice's court assembled at around 11:30 a.m. today, since the Chief was sitting a little late today. And then what had happened that this person took out his shoe and tried to throw it at the Chief Justice of India. There are different versions that are coming out at this point. Whether that shoe actually reached the Chief or not is something that is yet to be verified, and we'll have to wait and watch for more details to emerge out as far as this particular case is concerned. But this is, in fact, an unfortunate attempt that was made by this particular lawyer, though he was somebody who was irked or was not happy with the kind of observations that the Chief Justice has made in the past. But this is something, that was unwarranted, and it's happened and has happened. So we'll have to wait. The Chief Justice has very categorically, while he was on the bench, responded that, he's not affected by such things. And that is something, that is a kind of a response that the Chief Justice has given. But what happens next, what will happen to this particular person,
right,
whether or not, he would be actually arrested or not, is something that we'll have to wait and watch for.
It's a deeply immoral and disturbing act nonetheless, Ananya, but what are you learning from your sources in terms of what led to him to resort to such a deeply demeaning act?
Well, he was somebody who was really irked with the kind of observations the Chief Justice has made while he was being escorted out by the police officials present. The security officers were present inside the courtroom. He shouted that Sanatan ka apman nahi karenge, and that is something that has come out as far as this particular lawyer is concerned, identified as Mr. Rakesh Kishore, who has been under the custody of the Supreme Court security. But what happens next is something that only time will tell us, and if at all a statement comes in from the Supreme Court, we get more clarity as to what had actually happened.
What you're learning in terms of the reaction of the CJI, we are being told that he remained extremely calm and composed during this entire act.
Well, the Chief was really calm and composed as far as things were concerned. He went on to very categorically brush this aside, say that, it is something that he's not affected by, and such attempts does not mean anything to him, acting very, very calmly and coolly, just as expected from the Chief Justice of India, somebody who holds the highest post in the Indian judiciary, remaining very, very calm. But it is an unfortunate attempt and a kind of unfortunate incident that has occurred at the court number 1 of the Supreme Court of India.
He's a newly appointed CJI, and what makes one wonder is that why is he courting controversy so soon?
There have been incidents. He's a judge. He makes certain observations as far as cases are concerned. People might or might not be happy. One side always remains unhappy as far as any case of the Supreme Court is concerned. But at this juncture, the Chief Justice, who's set to retire on November 22, has served, in fact, almost a tenure of over 6 to 9 months. It's somebody, who's a very mature judge. He has remained in the Supreme Court for a long time, and acting very, very calmly and coolly, just as expected from the senior-most judge in the judiciary is concerned. And he has remained calm, said that these things doesn't affect him at all.